Most golfers love lists. That's kind of why we're obsessed with golf course rankings. So I thought I'd create one of my own. It's my top 10 favourite public access golf courses in Australia. I thought we'd get rid of all the private ones, otherwise it'd be pretty boring because there'd be some pretty predictable courses in there. In no particular order as well. But first off, Port Fairy Golf Club, about 3.5 hours west of Melbourne. Links course on the water, somewhere between the township of Port Fairy and Barnbougle. I find with favourite courses, it's often not so much about or entirely about the actual golf course. Often you attach these positive memories to courses, which is why I think a favourite course is different to what you think is perhaps the best course. You know, if I said my top 10 greatest courses rather than my favourite. I used to go there most summers with my family. My mum grew up in Killarney, which is a tiny town near Port Fairy. So I have all these kind of positive memories of playing there in the summer, learning the game, probably the period where my game improved the most. Their stretch of holes in the back nine, well, I think it definitely is one of the best stretches of links golf holes in Australia. 12th hole through the 16th hole there. Next up, Cape Wickham, not much surprise there. Came on the scene about 6 years ago, down on King Island in Tasmania. Absolutely remarkable clifftop views. In terms of spectacular views, certainly on a par with any other course I've played anywhere in the world. Trumps Pebble Beach in that regard, easily. Wide fairways too. There's certainly angles there, so you want to find certain parts of the fairways, but at least you're not spending the whole day looking for golf balls, which makes the game a lot more fun too. One of those courses where you got to bounce your ball up onto the green, which I love. It's a game through the air, and then there's definitely that element of once the ball hits the ground as well, which is another reason why Cape Wickham is so memorable. Got to give Barnbougle a mention. Barnbougle Dunes, the Dunes course, it would be my pick of the two down there, and it gets a spot on this list. You got a stretch of holes there early on that I absolutely love. Some blind tee shots, which I'm actually quite a fan of a blind tee shot, and there's quite a few there on the Dunes course. Short par 4 fourth hole's a real standout. We can easily reach the green if you're a longer hitter, but it's treacherous. Short par 3 7th hole is an absolute ripper there as well. Little devilish par 3, tiny green, falls away on all sides. You know, you can have a 5 or 6 club win there. 15 through 18, you all play in a similar direction, so depending on the wind, that can kind of be a brutal closing stretch, or if the wind's at your back, it just plays completely different. Joondalup in Perth, nowhere near as rugged looking. Huge bunkers, nice and green, kind of got these spectacular carries over massive ravines. It reminds me a little bit of the old course at the National Golf Club. Just a lot of fun, very well manicured as well. And staying in WA, Kennedy Bay, another links course, really flat, you know, lots of fairway, sneaky little pot bunkers in fairways. The greens there, quite massive from memory as well. That was an awesome place to play. Not a very old course. I think from memory it's sort of built in the 90s or possibly the early 2000s. Kind of looks like it's been there for much longer as well. Barwon Heads Golf Club, very old course, not very long, par 70, small poa greens. The first 6 holes are probably the pick of the holes. They're sort of on one side of a road as you drive into the course. You play the front 6 and then you cross over a road where the clubhouse is, and that's where the other 12 holes are. So the first 6 are sort of classic links, close to the water, not much in the way of trees or anything like that. But then there are other holes, there are little pockets of cypress trees. And yeah, the greens can be very fast for a links course. If it's blowing down there, it's not unusual to have your golf ball kind of be in a relatively flat spot on the green and blow off the green, which is a little bit unfair, but that's happened to me there before. A course that it takes you quite a number of times to figure out how to play there as well. Being overly aggressive at Barwon Heads doesn't really seem to get you very far. Next up, right next door, 13th Beach Golf Links, the beach course. Home of the Vic Open since about 2013. Another links golf course. You don't really get views of the ocean, but it's right there. You're just sort of hidden behind these big sand dunes between the course and the water. Great bunkering, great set of par 3s there too. A mix of, 2 medium length, 1 pretty long and 1 really short par 3. The par 3s there are probably the standout. And heading across to the Mornington Peninsula, we've got St Andrews Beach. Beautiful test of golf. Nice wide fairways too, similar to what I was talking about at Cape Wickham, where you play for the angle. Doesn't mean it's easy having wide fairways, but it makes for more interesting golf for sure. And another Mornington Peninsula one that gets on there for me is Portsea. Got good memories from playing there when I was younger. My best ever start to a round was at Portsea. Birdied the first 4 holes in a row Actually birdied 6 of the first 8. I was 6 under through 8, then kind of choked up and shot 3 under. An interesting course where you hit a variety of clubs off the tee, short par 4s that you can drive the green. But then there's holes where you sort of have, like the smart players definitely to hit an iron. Some holes kind of, the further up you're willing to hit, the narrower they get, and plenty of undulation around the course. And lastly, Queensland course, the only one on the list, Brookwater. Greg Norman design. A very hilly golf course, one where you have to be pretty bold off the tee. Some fantastic downhill drives or drives where you get a lot of hang time and you have to hit through these shoots of tall gum trees. It kind of forces you to hone in your focus and pick a really specific target off in the distance. They're my top 10 favourite public access golf courses in Australia of the ones that I've played. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Under the Card YouTube channel. You can do that by clicking that red subscribe button down there below the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for our next video.